Brittany Darrington here, and you're listening to episode number 3 of Confessions of a Corporate Misfit, brought to you by the Corporate Misfit Club. If you've ever thought about starting a business and entrepreneurship is like a foreign language to you, then I would love to have you in the Corporate Misfit private Facebook group. In this community, you'll get business resources, tips, advice, and so much more. When I first began discussing my entrepreneurial dreams with my friends and with my family, the first thing that they would say to me is, "Girl, how are you going to pay your bills?" Also, I would hear things like this: "You're working at a Fortune 500 company, making 6 figures with a 401k and amazing health benefits. Why would you ever give that up?" Now, I have to admit, I had so much fear around replacing my 6-figure salary and the fear of unknown territory when you walk into entrepreneurial world. There were so many times that I would talk myself out of even just starting my business plan because I would hear these voices telling me that I couldn't do this, that I wouldn't be able to replace my income from my 9 to 5, and I had no idea what I was doing. Thinking about the unknown and moving away from that security blanket, also known as that 9 to 5 paycheck, was freaking scary. It wasn't until I had coffee with a friend of mine who was a successful entrepreneur, and I truly admired what they were doing and how they did it, and they gave me the best advice while I was an aspiring entrepreneur. The first piece of advice was, your 9 to 5 security job is not as secure as you think it is. You could walk into work today or tomorrow and be fired or laid off. Then what? Second, if you're not willing to pursue the unknown, you aren't meant to be an entrepreneur. You were meant to be an employee. Ugh, that truly hurt, but it was what I needed to hear. And it also helped me to take that leap of faith and really start pursuing this business dream of mine to turn it into reality. You see, by removing our fears and addressing our fears head on, it allows us to find out what it is we need to work on or what we need in our tool belt to help us reach that level of where we're trying to go. Today, our powerhouse guest, Renee Lamb, and I talk about how to overcome some of the fears that you may have around leaving your 9 to 5 or not receiving that 9 to 5 paycheck. Renee has over 15 years of experience in the corporate world. She has had management roles in HR, international healthcare, and project management. But the role that she loves the most is job exit strategist for her own company, Renee M. Lamb, LLC. Renee is also passionate and obsessed with helping professionals to gain freedom and wealth via entrepreneurship. She believes her role is to give them the wings so that they can soar to greater heights on their entrepreneurial journey. She does this through her coaching programs as well as her courses. Now, if you're just tuning in, I want to hear from you. So go ahead and head over to iTunes, rate us and subscribe, and let me know what are your favorite takeaways from today's episode. So let's go ahead and dive in.
You're listening to the Corporate Misfit Podcast with Brittany Darrington, where female entrepreneurs can get powerful tips and advice on how to start, launch, and grow their business. Renee, I am so excited to have you on Confessions of a Corporate Misfit. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here and to be able to talk to your tribe. So I appreciate that.
How did you leave your 9 to 5 working in the HR department and being accustomed to all of that?
Well, I did HR a while ago. I always kept abreast to it because I was in management for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I was transitioned to the healthcare industry. And the best way to exit, the reason why I exited was I felt like a commodity. And I felt like I was being shifted and used for the betterment of my executives, but never for the betterment of my career. And I was like, something's wrong with this. Like,
Yeah.
How come my expertise is not giving me any value, but it's giving everybody else value? And that was just not something that I wanted. And so that was really the major spark, and bad bosses, of course.
Oh yeah.
Back to back bad bosses. And I thank them. I'm not mad with them. I thank them because they were also the push
Mm-hmm.
for me to say, I've done everything that everybody wanted me to do. When does it become time that I do what I want to do for me? Like, when do I live my life and not the life that everybody prescribes to me? And so it was either you're going to do it now or you're never going to do it. Because of my age, I'm getting up there. Like, I can hear the AARP card coming down. Like, I can hear it coming to me. And so it was like, you're going to either do it or you're not going to do it. And I was more scared of staying than I was of leaving.
Wow, Renee, that's really interesting that you said that. So many people actually are afraid to leave their job because of the stability and getting the paycheck every other week or once a month, and being able to know exactly what they're going to do with their money versus going into the world of the unknown. And you were actually excited about going into the world of the unknown.
Well, really, we really are in the unknown in corporate because we think we're not, because we get I call it the 2-week welfare check, which
Yes.
I had to detox off of. And that considered the stability part of it. But actually, we're really, with my HR background, I know that it's unknown. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know what's unknown. You just don't know that the day you walk in is the day might be the last day that you live. So you really are in the unknown. It's just that you get this check and you think it's the stability until the day comes that they say, we're doing a mass layoff.
Mm-hmm.
And then your foundation is shook. And then it's like, you don't even know where to go. And I keep telling people, I'm more stable as an entrepreneur because I know the systems and where's the next thing coming, where you don't know as an employee. What's the next thing coming? What's your next project? What's your next move? You're depending on someone else telling you that. I'm depending on me telling me that. So I know when stuff gets to dry up. I know when stuff is flowing. Like, I have way more control as an entrepreneur than I did when I was an employee. So I really think, even though the rough part is hard in the beginning, but once you hit a certain point, my leaps and bounds will be so much further than when I was an employee. You know, I can't
so
go
true.
but so far in a big corporation. I'm not going to be their CEO. Statistics tells me, as a Black woman, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so what am I supposed to do? Which made me more afraid of, do I waste away the talents and the gifts that I was given, or do I go for it and live a life where my mantra is, not one of my mantras is, I want to leave on E. I want nothing left when I go up. Like, I want it all there. And I can't do that as an employee. I will be left full as an employee. I want to be empty as an entrepreneur.
Wow. You are just hitting it on the nail, because again, so many people die with everything in them instead of dying empty. And what we go into corporate world sometimes, or within our 9 to 5, and we're like, okay, I'm going to give this job everything I have. But deep down inside, are we really giving our own lives everything that we have? And just staying in that job? And I love that you said that, one, the corporate world ain't all stable like people think it is. It really does have some behind the scene things that people don't know about, but they think that since they're getting there, you called it a 2-week welfare check. Love that. 2-week welfare check.
Right.
Really true. And so just like you said, I've known many people, I've even experienced this myself before in my corporate experience, being laid off or having something happen behind the scenes that you really didn't know what was going on. And then you were just left like, all right, you didn't plan, here you go figure it out. And that to me is scarier than knowing, like, okay, this week I didn't bring any customers in, or this week we're down in my company by XYZ amount. Okay, how can I make that up? How can I fix this? Or how can I get someone else to help me bring in this income during this time or whatnot? So I love that you said that.
Exactly.
So once you left your 9 to 5 and you gave them your 2 weeks notice,
Yeah.
how did you know exactly what it is that you wanted to do with helping others and getting them to leave their 9 to 5? How did you know what to do?
I probably tell everybody, I probably did everything wrong, which is great. So I can tell you exactly what not to do.
Uh-huh.
I actually started life coaching because I was always able to, I was the friend you come to get you out of a problem. Like I always can bring a plan. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, that's kind of life coaching, and let me help women to get from being stagnant to start moving in their lives. And I found I didn't enjoy it. Like, I'm not a therapist. I just like you to do what I tell you to do. Like, I don't have time for you to find it in yourself, which is a coach. Like, they don't give you answers. They want you to find it within you. And I'm like, no, just do what I tell you, which is why I say strategist, because I'm not a coach. And I went to a business mastermind with a wonderful group of Black women, actually. And I was realizing that I was giving way more business strategic tips. I was telling them things on how to deal with their job because they might have been, straggling the fence. And it was natural, so I wasn't paying attention to it because that was naturally who I was. All my degrees are in business, so that's my world. And so I was just shooting it off, and someone just said, why are you not doing this? And I was like, oh, because it was too easy. Like, it was just natural. I didn't think about it. I didn't have to read about it. Like, I had a culmination of experiences and schooling that it was something I didn't think about. And I actually then switched over. And I tell that to people because people believe that the first thing you stay with, you have to stay with it. And I'm like, absolutely not. Most people within 0 to 5 years of launching actually switch and niche and turn until they hit that sweet spot. So you can start with something and totally transform to something else, which is what I did, and found my sweet spot and said, oh, this is where I am and this is who I am. Because I had to peel off the layers of being an employee to find me and my voice that I lost so many years ago, to say, what does she want and who does she want to be and who was she? So it took me a minute as I was peeling off to find my happy spot or my sweet spot where my gifts, my talent, my happiness, my joy came together. And that's when I realized this is it. This is where I stay at. This is what keeps getting me up. When everything around me doesn't look successful, but I can see it with my third eye. That's what gets, when you get that point, that's it. When you can see it with that third eye and everybody's like, your life looks a mess, but you're like, you don't see what I see. That's when you know you hit that spot of what you want to do. And that's what happened for me. And that's when I was like, this is what I'm working with.
I love that you just said your sweet spot. You had to peel off those layers from what you experienced within the corporate world. And I think a lot of new entrepreneurs sometimes forget that, especially if they are leaving a 9 to 5 to start a business, that you have to kind of you have to remove and get rid of some of the things that you were learning in the corporate world and almost go into a whole new world.
Right.
And sometimes you were in a role that was not a good fit for you. At your corporate world, but that doesn't mean you take that role into your new business and try to implement the things that you didn't even like to begin with.
Exactly, girl. You need to say it to the choir back here, because I'm telling you, people don't. If you an accountant but you hate it, do a business as an accountant.
Don't start an accountant business.
Right? It's like we are such complex beings, and so we have different talents and skills. And I do lean very heavily on my faith, and I'm United Methodist. And one thing I love about them is every 3 to 5 years, we have to take a test about talents and skills, because we know we switch or we change around that timing. And so if you believe in whatever your faith is, you know that God or Allah or whoever has equipped you with talents that is not based upon the world. It's just innate in who you are. Those are what you want to find. because my talent is in worldly is project management, human resources.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any of those things. I'm a certified project. I would die being a certified project manager. It's the hardest thing to get your PMP. They will put it on my casket.
Yes.
But I didn't want to do business with it. I can, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. That was what I came out of. I did something totally that I never did in corporate. But those were the other talents that lay dormant because they were never utilized in corporate or never realized in corporate. But they became active when I started to learn about me and was like, oh, this is who I am and this is who I am. So get to know you and who that person is.
Yes.
And you will start to find out talents that you have that you never knew.
Now, did you have a business plan when you started your business? Did you use a business plan or any planning methods to help you kind of identify what route you were going to take?
Well, yes and no. Like I had it in my head because I'm a project manager. So I kind of knew a plan, but I didn't do the formal business planners that we're raised to do. Like I didn't do the formal way of doing it because one, I was an online business. I knew I wanted to do that. And so I wasn't going to have to get funding in the traditional manner. And so funding, I was the banker. My family was the bankers, you know, so I didn't really need to do that type of planning. And so, but I had a kind of a milestone of, okay, this is where I need to be. I did a lot of data analysis, like what is conversion rates, you know, how many people I need to get in the funnel to get out the money. And like I did that type of stuff, but it wasn't what really traditional. And that's one of the other things I find that a lot of people think that they have to do this traditional business plan. And that is not true. Like business schools, and I have my MBA, has not caught up to where we are in the world. Like they're still teaching you the traditional old school way of doing a business. And that is not where we're at. Like that's not it.
And to jump in on this, I am like, oh, goodness, I can go on for days about business school and things like that. Not ever knocking an MBA if someone has it or wants to have it. Totally cool. But I have learned that a lot of the professors that are teaching you to get your MBA or get a advanced degree in business, most of them have not even started a business themselves. They are teachers.
Yes.
Simple as that. And at the end of the day, how can someone share something that is new, up to date, if they have no idea and they have not experienced creating their own business themselves? They're going off of what's in a textbook or what has been done in the past. And so then it's like feeding this information, misinformation, I call it, this information to people that is really not going to help them. And so people get stuck. They get so stuck because they're like, what I learned in business school has to be like this. And when you get into business, I don't care what industry you go into, your plan is going to change, and you have to be willing to adapt to it, and you have to be willing to adjust and sometimes go with the flow.
Yes, and go with the flow. Like, oh, we're going over here. Yes, business school, I didn't take anything I learned from business school. I was already way out of business school before I started, but you know, it wasn't what I needed to be in my business. Like I'm not pulling from it in that regard to do what I do in business now, because they're not talking about sales funnels.
No, they're not talking about sales funnels in business.
Email marketing. They're not talking about ads. They're not talking about social media. They're not talking about content marketing strategy. They're not talking about SEO. Those are the things you need to learn.
Absolutely.
They're not, I can't go anywhere in business school and see anybody talking really about it. They talk about theory, but as I always say, as soon as you throw in a human, theory's out the window.
Yeah.
Because it's too many variables.
Yes. And some people have to get really, depending on what they're selling, whether that be a service or a product-based business,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to get a little more creative. Like
Yes.
sometimes you have to go out and network with people in order to get your client, or sometimes you have to go get active in a Facebook group to get your
Right.
customer. I mean, everyone has a different way of going about it. Yes, it's very similar, but it's all, depends on your business.
Yes.
And so, I love that you have an MBA, because you can definitely be able to share this for all of the aspiring entrepreneurs who think the only way for me to start my business is if I go and get this MBA. And the truth is, you can go get your MBA, but you can also go another route and not have to go and get that additional educational side of things if you choose not to.
Right. I think an MBA is good if you want to stay in corporate.
Yes,
Like it helped me there
perfect in
to move
corporate.
up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
as far as me, nobody has asked me as an entrepreneur, so do you have your MBA?
I know.
Nobody asks me that. Like nobody cares.
Only my corporate friends ask those kind of questions. They're like, do you have this? And I'm like, no. Do you have this certification? No.
No. Like I see people who have high school diplomas in this online
Mm-hmm.
business that are killing it.
Yes.
Killing it with a high school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
I have my MBA, I have my certification as a project manager. Like I got it. And that is not the only, I will say my certification does help me is project management. Now that I will say definitely helps
There
me.
you go.
I pull on that tremendously
Mm-hmm.
just to organize and be that just does help me. But that's a certification.
Mm-hmm.
I could have got that without my MBA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could have gotten that anyway. So and especially, and I'm going to have to speak to the sisters for just a minute. In our culture, we're taught education. And I'm not disagreeing. I do believe education is very important for us. But education is not the sole way to pull you out of poverty
I agree.
or middle class. And and we're always taught that we need to have that extra in order for us to get a tenth of anything. I get that. But in this day, the way the world is changing, education traditional is not it. Because you're not competing with Joe down the street. You're competing with maybe Jane in Europe. Like we're global people. So the way we used to work doesn't work necessarily. So you don't need the traditional way, that extra education that you're now going to be paying back until you die.
It's like 40,000, 60,000, depending on where you go. I mean, it's thousands of dollars. I mean,
exactly. So don't go get your MBA if you don't have it, if that's not what you're going to do. If you're not going to stay in the entrepreneurial world, and if you're listening to this, you're probably not. I mean, in the corporate world, you don't have to have your MBA. Get it because you want it. Don't get it because you think it's now going to put a seal of approval of your worthiness. Your worthiness comes from you.
Absolutely.
Not from outside of you. And we have to stop allowing the environment to make us worthy of anything. We say that we're worthy, and then we demand that you step up to my standard. That's how that works. It doesn't work the other way around. You don't tell me my value. I tell you my value. You either comply or you get gone.
Woo, girl,
That's
you are preaching. I love this. Now, speaking of people telling you that you're worthy and telling you, are you capable of doing this? How did you handle support system when you left your corporate job?
So I moved to Arizona. So I've been here for about 3 years, and my mom came with me. Okay. I'm the only child, and so I had one parent left, which is my mom. And so she was like, that was a little too far for me to be away. So she was like, yeah, no, I'm
moving with you.
We moved out of New Jersey. We came here. So that is really, so I left my whole network base. I'm an East Coast girl. So, but I've always wanted to live on the West Coast, and I always moved. So I didn't have a big network base. Okay. It was my mom. And what I did was I sat down with her and I really started to talk to her about what it is that I was going to do. Like I showed her about conversions. I saw sometimes it was going over her head, and that was fine. But I was basically keeping her with the milestones, and this is where this is, and this is what I'm doing. And, you know, and so she was on board. So that was really technically the only person I had to say, hey, are you going to rock with me on this?
Yes.
And so the one thing is, I'll tell anybody, I couldn't do what I'm doing without her support, because she said, I'm going to take over everything. Like, I take over household, I take over everything, so that you can focus on what you need to do. And actually, I've been the one who's like, I don't like being broke all the time, because I think I definitely look prettier with money.
Girl, I say this too. I always say, broke doesn't look good on me. So
Right. Like, I don't
figure
take a
this
vow
out.
of poverty. Like, I'm the girl who looks cute with money and things. Like, I'm that.
Exactly. I'm with you. I'm with you. You're my soul sister. I mean, seriously.
Yes. And so, but without her, I know I couldn't have done it at the pace that I'm doing it. I could have done it, but at the pace, because I was the one waffling, saying, I remember one time I went into a room and I was like, I applied for these jobs. And she's sitting in her chair and she turns to me, she goes, what did you do that for? And I'm like, because I need to pay my half. Like, she's like, if that's what you want to do, fine, but I'm not making you do it. And that's the kind of support I have from her. She's like, it's okay. Long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's okay. But I tell people all the time, with their significant other, their family, or whoever they need the support from, you must have the conversation with them. Whether they understand it or not, it's not the point. The point is including them in what you're doing and making them a part of it as much as they want to be a part of it. What I find people do is, I don't expect my mother to love what I'm doing, because God laid this on my heart, not hers.
Yes.
I don't expect her to love it. I just hope that she supports me. That's all I need from her. Stop getting mad with your partner because they don't have the love for it. God did not put it on their heart. He put it on yours. All you need from them is to be supportive. That is it. Let them just support you in the manner that they can support you.
Yes.
And that is all you need from them.
and you know, I love that you said that, because honestly, sometimes we look at support from our spouses or significant others or the people that we love. We look at support as, okay, you talk to me all day about what I want to talk about within my business, and you agree with it, and you give me feedback, and you give me all of this. And like you said, just your mother was there to give you that support of like, I'm going to take care of things while you get this up and going and get it to where you need it to go, so you can focus. And what I think sometimes a lot of us forget is that, like, that's a support, that's a really strong support system. And sometimes we just need to be accepted, go in and do what we need to do, and don't question it. I think we question it. We make it more complicated. We're like,
yeah, and we're expecting them to have the same love as we do.
yes.
And that's where we have to stop. And they don't have to have the same love. That's maybe not their dream, but they love you, and so they support you in your dream. That's what you really want. I don't necessarily need my 70-something-year-old mother to want to be an entrepreneur. Like, I don't need her to want to do that. My mom doesn't turn on a computer. Like, she got this big Apple computer.
Yeah, I don't want to do that for my mom either. She would ask me questions like, can you do my marketing? Can you do this? I mean, trust me, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't need her to do that. But she does from time to time when I have to test things out to see if it works. So I'll go and be like, can you get on your computer? And she's my tester person. So she goes, tell me what button to push. And she'll put shit in. I'm like, we're in different parts of the house. So she does that. Like, she's happy with that. And that's great. Thanks, Mom, for testing. So I don't have to. It's hard sometimes when you're a solopreneur. You got to test your funnel. You got to test if this works. This email came through. So she does that. She's like, yeah, I got the email. And I'm like, okay, it was working.
We're good.
So, take it where you can, don't get into that and mess up your focus. Like, even if they're just supportive emotionally, take it. That's all they can give you. That's fine. That's fine. I think we want them to want what we want. You can't expect that of people. And I don't. I get it what I can. And I have learned to do, and I've learned this concept from Allison Bird. And I remember her talking about
Oh,
it.
I love Allison Bird.
Yes. And she goes, there's the love bank and then
Mhm.
there's the business bank.
Mhm.
We need to keep putting our family and friends in the love bank. And that's
Mhm.
all we want, love. And it's important and we need it and encouragement, but they don't always get into the business bank.
Mhm.
And we're trying to put them here when they belong over here. And so once I got the concept of the love bank and the business bank, it's very easy for me to have conversations with my girlfriends because all I do is expect love and they love me and I love them and we're happy. And then business, that's different. Now I'm expecting, we're going to talk money. We're going to talk strategy. I don't need you to love me to cut the check. I need you to have respect with me and integrity. And that's it. And so that's how I've learned to be able to balance and get way more love and support from these people, from the love bank, because I don't put the expectation on them. Like they have to ask me about my business. I don't talk about my business with them. If they don't ask, we don't talk about it. And I've done that and they have actually more supported me because they said I make them feel comfortable. Like they're not, when they call, they're going to pick up the phone because they're like, you're actually going to listen to my day and not try to sell me something. And you're just still my friend. And I'm like, yes, that's all I want to be is your friend.
And you know, so I love that you're saying that. And I love that you say that too, because so many people, especially in the very beginning, they can make family members in the entrepreneurial world. You can make family members and friends feel really uncomfortable because you're either one, like, buy my product, support me, do this. Like, you know, I know you don't need it, but just do it because you're a family member. And that makes people feel uncomfortable because I know for my own sake, like I feel uncomfortable when family members are trying to get me to do something that I don't want to do. And I'm very vocal. So I'll be like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. But that just puts this like weird elephant in the room and kind of keeps people from like, okay, let me stay away from her because she's going to ask me to do something that I don't want to do. And I'm now nervous to be around her. Like that's why it's so important for new entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs, whatever it may be. You have that love support, that love bank. And then you also have that business side of things, that business community that you can connect and, work with and share those business ideas.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Now, what about fear? You had the support system that you really needed that you mentioned from your mother. Any fears that came about though, when you were starting your business?
Girl, I was a fear box, okay?
Fear box.
There's a honeymoon phase, and I tell people there's a honeymoon, everything's wonderful and you're learning and it's wonderful. And I don't pop that bubble when I see it for people. I'm like, please stay as long as you can in the honeymoon phase.
Yes.
And where you're not moving as fast as you projected. The money's maybe not even coming in at all. I mean, you're it's like a fire hose of information coming at you and you start to question or fear, like, am I really as smart as I thought I was? Can I really do what I think I can do? Do I have what it takes? Like I still deal with that as I grow. Like I tell people, fear is there to protect you. So you don't want to necessarily get rid of fear. You just want to make sure you place it in the back seat or the trunk. So that's all I try to do with fear is not that it needs to get rid of, but I need to put it in its place. And so I would definitely question or fear that I was a fraud or that I didn't know what I thought that I knew, or I can't teach you that because I don't know if I know that, or
that imposter syndrome thing.
Right. Why I'm not doing what these people are doing. Like I went, and I still sometimes, not as much now, but I've been in it long enough to be like, no, I know what I'm doing. No, I can't go out and do this. But yes, in the beginning, especially the first time, it was just like, what am I doing and am I supposed to do this? Because you see the glitz and glam. You see the people that says, in 6 months, I made 6 figures. Some do, some, are you serious? But what did you? And then you start to learn how to ask the right question. You made 6 figures in 6 months, but what was your profit?
Yes. That, Yes. Yeah. And that's what the thing is. People don't ask the question. So for example, someone can say, well, I made XYZ amount. Well, yeah, as a business person, we know you got to start asking some questions, because you
Right.
just telling me like, oh yeah, you do this, this, and that, and that's it. Well, no, there's more strategies that go along with it. And that's why I always try to tell people, be careful of the get rich quick scheme, because you
Yes.
making $150,000, if your profit is only $10,000, then you're not getting rich quick. You just brought in income, but you didn't think about your expenses and all the other things
Yes.
that go into your fixed cost, in order for you to then be able to eventually generate your profit. So if people were to, ask those questions too in the very beginning, they'll learn that they actually are not saying that some people aren't as big as what they say they are, but they'll actually be able to learn more strategies and more systems and things that they can implement into their business, because they'll learn, okay, that 150, that person really only profited 50% of the 150.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, once you start to understand the game,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference, and I tell people I'm honest even if I don't look good. Like
Yes.
that's one thing about my personality. Like I was terrible at lying. Like
Mm.
I forgot all the time, so I knew that wasn't something that was gonna work for me. So I just kept to honesty because I can remember that. And I tell people, that you got to learn the game. You got to know what questions to ask. And that a lot of people, what they're teaching you to do is not necessarily what they're doing in their business.
Mm-hmm.
So like one thing is that whole grinding in, you got to
Uh,
create content forever. One, yes, you have to create content. Create content for 3 months,
mm-hmm.
then repurpose the heck out of it
Yes.
for the next 6 months. Like you don't need to create content every day. That's not sustainable.
When it causes that burnout, it causes
Yes.
burnout, it causes exhaustion. And then that's where people start to say, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't
Right.
keep up. Like, it's just exhausting.
And yes, and especially for women, I'm not a man. I cannot do the pace. I don't even want to be a man. Like I love being a black woman and everything that goes with it. Oh my God, we have so many accessories. Why would we give that up?
Yes.
But I do tend to, when I was in management, I managed from my masculine energy. By far, I would tell you that. But I'm very girly, but I'm not I can't grind like that. My body can't handle that.
No.
I can't, they would say, oh, grind, and I know you don't take weekends off. What? And I'm going to be honest, because I want someone to hear this. I have sickle cell anemia. I mean, no bones about it. But I say that because I was grinding. I wasn't taking off, and I'm grinding. And I got a crisis, that's what we do when we get sick with sickle cell. And it scared me because my pain medicine regulars Tylenol and codeine.
Mm-hmm.
I was pushing myself so hard that my regular pain medicine became a narcotic of oxy. And I said, wait a minute, wait, hold on. This is too much. That's what grinding gets you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an illness, it exasperates it. If you didn't, you're going to have one now. You cannot sustain that. And it stopped me in my tracks because it was affecting my health, because I wasn't getting the appropriate sleep. I wasn't giving my mind time to rest, and so it can become creative again. It was just, I was pushing so hard that my body was like, no, ma'am.
Yes.
No, ma'am, we're not doing this. And so I had to back this all the way up and be like, no, I don't need to grind myself into the grave. And so now, if you ask me what I do, I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 2 p.m. And I have gotten way more done than I did when I was grinding. It's just that you need to work on the right things, the money task that gets your business forward. It's not the time you put in, it's what you do with the time you have.
I love this, because I used to be like what you said, a grinder. Let me keep my eyes open until 3 a.m. in the morning and wake up at 6 a.m. and do it again, right? And I used to be like, we're grinding, we're hustling in our business. And it was popular and cute to say that until I experienced burnout in my own life. And I remember just like, every morning waking up, and I started to resent my own business
Yes.
because I had
Yes.
burnout. And
Yes.
what you said, like, you will grind yourself into the ground. And if you're not
Yes.
sick now, wait, keep doing it. See if your body
Yes.
can keep up with that. And when you allow yourself to rest, when you allow yourself to really take care of yourself, and Ariana Huffington says this, you are going to thrive so much more when you allow yourself to take care of you.
Yep.
You can actually be a better business owner, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And
You
same
will.
thing with time. Okay, leaving your corporate job, Renee, a lot of people think, okay, I leave my job, now I need to work from 6 a.m. in the morning, and now I need to stop at 9 p.m. because I left my corporate job and I need to stay in this like work until I'm done kind of thing. Well, I find that that's not productive. So you're working 8 to 2. Can you tell me how you manage your day?
So first you have to set goals. That's the first thing. So what I tell people is I do 90-day goals.
Mm-hmm.
I break them down to, okay, now the 90-day goal, what I want to accomplish in 90 days. What does that look from for each month? And then what does that look like 2-week sprints? Mm-hmm. So that's how I first do it. And then I know, okay, I'm going to do 3 things in this 2-week sprint. Mm-hmm. So from these 3 things, what am I going to do day to day, today? Mm-hmm. And that's how I break it down every 90 days. So I can, 1, quantify it. And so the goals have to have a money or a percentage to them, because I have to quantify, did I reach it or where did I miss it? Mm-hmm. So let me say that piece. And so it allows me to be very strategic in what I'm doing, because that 2-week sprint that goes to each day rolls all the way back up to a 90-day goal, period. So I know exactly where it's going. I'm doing this and it's going to lead to email subscribers, or I'm doing this and it's going to lead to selling courses. Like, you got to know what it leads to. And so once I figured, okay, this is what I'm going to do today, I did all of that. So I do block and tackle.
I love that. Like, is that like time blocking?
Yes. I only do 3 things in a day, 3 top things. That is it. No more, no less. And so I block and tackle my time. Like, which one, the hardest one goes in the morning, because that's my optimal time to work. So I'm going to be really good in the morning than in the afternoon. Okay. And if I eat, and depending on how good I eat, nothing ain't going to get done.
You have that good meal, you're done. You're taking a nap.
I found my optimal time is in the morning, and I also found my optimal days. So my optimal days are like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So whenever I need heavy lifting, I'm going to schedule it in those. Anything light goes towards the end of the week. Mm-hmm. And I really paid attention to me to figure that out. And so I just block and tackle. These things are going to get done, period. And then anything that comes in the day that I really think is a good idea, I park it. So I have a piece of paper that I write, great funnel strategy, and I might leave the tab open. And at the end of the week, I'll look at all the things I thought was so fantastic. I bet you probably 1 maybe. I might be like, yeah, I'll look at it. The other stuff, I'm like, I don't need that drama.
That is,
and that's how I do my day.
That is a wonderful way to manage your day, because as entrepreneurs, we have these ideas. We're like full of ideas. And sometimes during the week, we might think of something, or we see something that's like, oh, I should implement this into my business. And then we try to go do it. But if you do what you just said, like have the 90-day goal, now break your 90-day goal down and focus on the next 2 weeks on this specific goal and this specific task that will ultimately lead to your 90-day goal. Mm-hmm. It makes your time so much more efficient. You're more efficient, and you're making it happen in a shorter period of time than you would in the 9 to 5.
Exactly. Because really a lot of stuff is more project-based. Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with project, which is where I came out of, there's times that you're not going to do something because it's not something, you need something to happen first before you can move forward. And so I was very used to that. So everything doesn't need I can't do a straight 8 hours, because it doesn't need for me to do a straight 8 hours. And I'm not going to sit there and do busy work that adds to nothing for what? So I can say I'm hustling, #hustling. Really?
Yeah, hustling. Oh.
Right. Like, I don't need to do all
Hashtag have more time on my hands.
Right. And so now at the 2, and I'm a political news junkie. I am. So I get to watch my political news.
Mhm.
I go talk to my mom. I go out in my backyard. I get sun. I get in the pool. I just rejuvenate me. And I'm in bed. By 10 o'clock, I'm asleep.
Mhm.
That is it.
Me.
I'm done. And then I wake up. I wake up very early in the morning because when I worked, I was off at East Coast time. And I just kept it that way. So I wake up extremely early in the morning. So I
So
have
like
to
8 o'clock your time is 5 a.m. in Arizona.
right. And so I actually wake up, believe it or not, I wake up about 3:30, 4 o'clock my time.
Okay.
And so, but I do a morning routine and I'm very quiet and I'm my meditation, whatever, to get me going for my day. So I just like to wake up and I like the peace of it.
Absolutely.
And so you have to learn, if I take anything away besides the 90 goals, but in order for that to be effective, I want your listeners to know, you have to find what is your optimal time that you do work and what is your optimal days that you do work. Because if you can then put the right task at the right time and right day, you're going to be amazed at what you will accomplish. Don't do something on Friday if you know you are tired. Put your light stuff. So watching social media or engagement or something that doesn't take a lot of your effort, whereas building a funnel might be on Mondays. That's going to be on Monday for me because that's when I do best.
Yes.
It's not going to be on a Friday. Like, that's not going to work for me. So please, you guys, start to learn about what works for you and your timing and start plugging in the right task at the right time and the right day. And I guarantee you that you'll start to see you move forward at a much quicker pace.
I love that. Now, what about any delegation? Do you have any virtual assistants or anyone that helps you to?
I did have a virtual assistant. Right now, I don't have one.
Okay.
She's still always to the side a little bit. We have a relationship anyway. So, but usually for me, when I do have my VAs, I really keep them on what I'm not good at.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you give away, people. If
Yes.
you're not good, I don't care. I like it. Okay. Give away the things that you don't enjoy. That's the first thing to give away. I am not a graphic designer. I do it when I have to do it. Don't get me wrong. And I've gotten pretty well because I had to. I had to conserve some money, so I pulled it in. But I know when I can give it back out. That's the first thing. All that putting on social media and all of that goes away. That is not bringing money in. Let me help you people out.
Yeah, I love that.
No, ma'am.
You want to focus on the things that generate revenue and not the things that aren't generating revenue. And that's stuff you can pass off. Did you recognize, though, when you were time blocking, like, okay, my time is worth this much, so I cannot give my time to things that really don't bring me any value? Especially in the very beginning, a lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes they experience this where they have a service-based business and everyone's asking them to guest post on their blog or do an interview like what we're doing, or come and talk about your services for free and basically just share your information with us for free. And also product-based. Give it to me for free, I'll post about it, or give it to me and I'll give it to somebody I know that could possibly post about it. How do you manage your time or keep yourself from getting in these situations to where you're kind of taking away from your business and what you really need to focus on?
Well, it depends. It goes back up to your goals. So I'm always saying, what is the goal? So for my 90-day, I have only 3: sell courses, grow email, and I forgot the last one. I'm sorry. It's one I'm halfway looking at it, but it's 3. Those are somewhere in there. And I think something with Pinterest, because that's a platform I choose to be on. So I asked the question, by doing this, which one is it going to help any one of these goals? And so if it's not, then I have to say no. Thank you. I really appreciate it, but it's not. If it is, I now know, this is going to help sell courses. This might help get email subscribers, and yes, I can now do that because it helps me to accomplish my goal. If it doesn't help you accomplish your goal, don't do it. It's as amazing as it might sound, that doesn't help you, so don't do it. And you, like I say, you don't marry for potential. You don't do anything for potential. Like, you know, like potential that you don't know about. Like,
you are dropping bombs. I love this.
Pie in the sky. I can't do pie in the sky. When I went to you, I did my research. Who is this? What is she doing? How would that help me? Is that market going to be something that my market? Some people's markets are not going to work for me. Absolutely. If you're doing something with fitness and yoga, I'm sorry. That's not who I work with. Unless, you know, like, you gotta know, are you gonna fit in your niche? Mm-hmm. Is it something that works for my niche? Would they be amenable to doing something? So you really have to ask the questions and roll it back up to your goals. I cannot get them goals and then flush it through the system of, does it help me reach the goal? Okay, yes, it helps me reach the goal. How does it help you reach the goal? Is it in your niche? And like, you just start rolling it through. And so I have this system where I just roll it through these questions. And if it hits it, then I do it. If it doesn't hit it, no, ma'am, thank you. I so appreciate you, but that's not going to work for me. I hate to leave people with nothing. So I always say, but you know, let me refer you to someone who I think this will be a better match than me. Mm-hmm. So I always like to refer, because I have a nice virtual network base that I have built up over many years. I'm moving, and because I've always moved a lot, my choice. And so I will refer you out. Like, I think that person works better than me, and let me make the introduction. And I'll just do that. But no, I don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
No, don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad at all. I'm going to give you somebody else, and we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. Because you should have done, now I'm thinking, you should have done your research on me before coming to me. Mm-hmm. You should have known that you should have never came to me, because that's not a niche that was going to work for us. Mm-hmm. So now I'm looking at you halfway crazy, but I'm still going to help you with love.
Yeah, that's what we do. We go through, Rebecca does this. We get information, and then if we start to notice that someone's not a good fit for us, or just even not to our quality, because it's very important. I know for myself, and I'm sure for you, like, I only want to present the best to my audience. And if I'm presenting stuff that's like not to par, then all I'm doing is hurting my own brand, and same with the other person. So it's like making sure that if it's not a good fit for you, you say no and you keep it moving. Don't even waste your time trying to entertain it if you know it's going to take up time from what you really need to be doing.
Exactly. So that's how I will stop and do. And if you notice, like I said, I did purposely did schedule in the beginning of the week. You're on the end of my week. Mm-hmm. I can talk. So this is easy for me, and it's much lighter. And I'm still sticking, just so that tell people, I'm sticking to what I just told you. This is why I did it on a Friday. This is a very light day for me. I can give you a lot of my time, and that it's not something heavy lifting for me. I stuck exactly to my plan. I pushed you to the end of the week. Yeah. I was like, nope, can't do it early. We're going to get her to the end, because I needed to get these goals done. Yes. And then now I can do this over here. So I'm modeling exactly what I just said to you guys. Like, that is why I did it to the end of my week.
I love that. And I'm like you, like I'm doing 52 interviews with female entrepreneurs, 52 interviews, but I'm doing it in a batch of 3 weeks. And for anyone who is starting a podcast or a YouTube channel, whatever it may be, I'm spending 3 weeks and I'm going boom, 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 but then I'm done for the rest of the year. And I have a whole year's worth of stuff.
Batching is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely beautiful.
As much as possible. That's another good gem that I don't think people do, is batch. And I do that with blog posts. So I will batch, because I do once a week kind of thing. If you do 52 once a week and you have them done, take a month and do it, you're done for the year. Like,
you're done.
It's a wrap.
I know. I'm like, I feel crazy. Rebecca's like, are you sure you're up for this? I'm like, I can do it. Let's do this.
Yes. But now you're going to be sitting back like everybody's scrambling, and you got your stuff coming out. That's the beauty of batching. I love it.
I love it. Now, you have been an entrepreneur and you've experienced the ups and the downs. Can you share with me how or what you love most about being an entrepreneur?
I'm going to probably say what most people don't say is actually learning about me. Most people are like, it's about helping people. Don't get me wrong. I do love helping people. But I have learned so much about my capabilities that I shocked myself
Yes.
about who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, we got to change that. But just, I didn't know so much about me as much as I do now.
Hmm.
And now it's like learning, wow, I can do that. Like I used to go through life. I have a mother who's very creative, like arts, and she's just always, and I always used to be like, I'm not creative like that. Like I'm not an artsy person. That's what I thought of creativity. You had to be in the arts or music or something. That wasn't my thing. And I found that I'm really creative.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the sense of arts. I still do stick figures, and that's as far as I can go. But I'm creative within my genre.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't think that I was that creative. I found that actually I write poetry. I never thought I could write poetry. I don't want to share it and sell it or anything, but it was just like I started to peel away and find like gems about myself
Mm-hmm.
that I never knew I thought I could do. Like I'm surprising me about me and what I'm capable of doing and who I'm capable of being, that when I first started, I would never thought that I can be that. And that is, I love that process of learning about just who I am and who I'm capable of being. That is what I love about it.
That's really beautiful that you said that, because you do learn so much about yourself, especially in entrepreneurship. Sometimes, and this isn't for everyone, but sometimes you go through some of the hardest moments of your business. And if you can't stomach it, if you can't really get yourself through those moments, sometimes you'll never be able to discover who you really are capable of being and who you've always been within. And being able to tap into some of the areas that you might not have tapped into in your 9 to 5, it's very beautiful to see what you can become when you allow yourself to be free to become it, you know?
Because you'll realize that you can become something beyond even what you thought you were capable of being.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, and so that's the beauty of it. Like, you know, it has shifted about who I think I thought I wanted to be. And then as I'm growing and learning me, it's like, oh, I didn't even know that I can go for that. Oh, wow. Like that is the beauty of it, which opens up so many different doors. And I think the biggest for me was the creativity. Like I just wouldn't put me in that box. And now it's like, yeah, I am creative, but I'm creative with business. And so you didn't put those two together, but actually that's my creativity. That's my out of the box way of thinking. And so I am a creative person. And so, you know, I got to own that and just be, it was freeing to just be who I am and not apologize for who I am. And so that was one of the freeing things for me. It's just like, this is me, period. And it's enough, and it's more than enough. And it's okay. It's okay that I love money. I'm not ashamed of saying it. It's okay that I want lots of money. It's okay that I love Jesus too.
I know. I love that.
That I want, you know, a Coach bag collection. It's okay.
My money goes to expensive wines. It's like,
it's okay.
I have a bad habit with that.
Like I want the finer things in life. It's okay to just say, this is who I am. And either you accept or you don't. And that's okay too. But I'm just going to be me because I'm good at that.
I love that.
And that was the most freeing part. And especially like you people see my hair now. When I was in corporate, I was natural for years. They would never knew that. I had weave, I had wigs, I had braids, because I was always hiding who I am. And now I like my hair short like this. I need to
Speaking
color.
of,
Did you see?
Speaking of, did you see the movie? I think it was.
I think Napoli is on my wish list for
Napoli Ever After.
I'm going to go see it on Netflix.
With what you just said, it literally just, oh my gosh, just a reminder. What you mentioned, she worked in a corporate job, and I'm not going to say anything else from there, but
Yes.
you need to watch it. It's awesome.
Yes, I am. It's on my thing, but like, and my friends tell me, so it grows out, and they say that when I cut it short, they see the difference in me. Like they see when I cut it the way I like it, especially if I color it, honey. They're like, you are a totally different person. Like your confidence comes. You think you sexy. I'm like, yes, honey. But it's like I'm so happy being in me, in my color and who I am in my being. Yeah. That's the part of entrepreneurship that I love. And it's a spiritual journey. I've always had a relationship with God and Jesus, but it's like that's my rock, and it has grown so much, which allowed me to better serve other people. Wow. Because I have learned how to serve myself.
Woo!
So now I'm free to serve you because I'm free. I'm freeing me every single day. And when I get free, that's how I can serve you. And that's people get it wrong. Not wrong, but you can't serve others when you in bondage.
Yep. When your cup is half empty, how can you even pour fully into someone else's? You just can't.
Right.
You can't.
So when you see me cut my hair off, that might inspire you that you can make a leap, or you can do something that you never thought that you can be able to do, because you see me taking the leaps and being who I want to be. I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you. But if I live my life being me, it allows somebody else to be free to be them. That's how I can serve you better, by being free myself. And so that's what I loved about entrepreneurship.
I love that. I love everything that you have said today. It's just been so powerful, and it's so inspiring to so many new entrepreneurs and even established entrepreneurs who are looking to get their business up and going. So thank you so much, Renee. Now we're going to do something fun called lightning round, where I'm going to ask you a few questions. You're going to give me a one word response. The first one is, what is your favorite business book?
And of course, you guys should know by now, non-business book is actually The Alchemist.
Ooh, I love that. What is a social media platform that you'd like to showcase your business on?
Pinterest.
Oh, okay. I'm addicted to Pinterest. I'm with you. I actually catch myself at 2 a.m, on Pinterest, just looking at stuff, and I'm putting stuff to my board. I'm like, okay, I have an addiction to Pinterest.
I do. And I'm leaning into it.
I know. I'm like, I'll take it. Let's just keep it going. Okay. What product or service can you not live without within your business?
If I do one, I'm going to say autoresponder.
Now, who is an entrepreneur that you look up to, that you admire, and that you enjoy learning from?
Actually, I have to put two. My maternal grandmother and my paternal grandfather were both entrepreneurs.
Now, what is the mantra that you live by within your business?
Okay, I mess it up, even though it's something I say all the time, so I'm gonna pull it up so I can say it right. It's move towards your wildest dream, take the labels off your mind, and step boldly into your greatness.
Now, what advice would you give to a new entrepreneur who is looking to start their business and leave their 9-to-5? What would you tell them?
One, do it. Stop overanalyze, do it. Two, get a coach. Get a coach, get a coaching program. Don't do it yourself. That's what a lot of us tend to do. So one, just do it, move towards doing it. That's the first thing I need you to do. But two, get a coach or a coaching program. Specifically, let me be clear, specifically around helping you to launch your business. Do not go get a program saying how to brand yourself. Don't do that. Don't get one on how to start your autoresponder. You need to get a program that is specific about launching a online business, if that's what you're going, or a beauty or a YouTube channel, if that's what you want to do. But make it specific to launching whatever your niche is. You have to be, don't go and get these round robin courses. But it has to say launch somewhere in there of what you want to do. Get that type of coach, coaching program, coaching course, anything like that. Those are the two things you need to do, and just go and just keep moving.
Oh, that's excellent advice. And I think that so many people, like you mentioned, they try to do business on their own. And as entrepreneurs, we are not meant to be isolated to try to figure this all out on our own. Some of us are just so creative inside that if we could just learn the business aspect of things, we could really flourish and just do amazing things. So I love the advice that you just gave because it is so powerful. And tell us how we can stay connected.
Well, I have made it very easy for people. So the one-stop shop is my website. Like, go there and it can take you everywhere, which is my website, which is www.reneemlam.com, all one word. And from there is really where you find everything that I'm doing. You can find blogs, you can find the courses that I have, you can connect to me social media that way. So I like to make a one-stop shop. Like, go there, and then wherever you want to go, you'll find it at that place. That is the way. And you can even send me a note. I have a page for that if you just want to ask a question, and I do respond to those. That's the place I like to tell. Start there, and you can go spread out everywhere.
Well, I will make sure to leave that link for our listeners and our audience so that they can connect with you. I have enjoyed our time, Renee. Yes. Thank you again for sharing with us how you became a corporate misfit and you left your 9-to-5 to start and build your own empire. Thank you again.
No, thank you.
If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Corporate Misfit podcast, we invite you to check out the Corporate Misfit Club. The Corporate Misfit Club is the essential resource for female entrepreneurs who are looking to start or grow a business they actually love. Whether you are a seasoned entrepreneur in your startup phase or simply thinking about taking the leap into entrepreneurship, we've got your back, girl. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive members-only discount perks, and unlimited tools. We also have a supportive community of women where our members share stories, experiences, their wins, and business tips. The Corporate Misfit Club is the perfect place to be to start, launch, or grow a business. So check it out at corporatemisfitclub.com.